Uh, just want to throw a couple more fun concepts at you. One is, in a fast, picking type of thing is if we're in G again, is throwing in some actual diminished scales into non-diminished chords is actually really cool, and it can sound really hip, in the moment. And those are the types of things that fly by real fast, and people go, what did I just hear? It sounded, interesting. And that particular thing I'm doing is just going, if we're in G, you could get into this lick a zillion different ways, but where I'm winding up is this. So I'm in G, and basically I'm starting on an A diminished, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it could also be a C sharp. They repeat every step and a half, so you can call it any of those. The starting one is basically an A, and it's strings 5, 6, and 8. So if I was getting into it, those types of things. So all it is it's 5, 6, and 8 with your E's raised. And again, you could get into this so many different ways, but I'll teach that way. So I'm starting with, we're in G, so I'm going 6, B pedal, 8, 7, 6, no pedal, B pedal, fifth string, no pedal, hit the A pedal, so you got, right, and then hit the 6th string, and then go up a fret to 11, let off A and B, raise your E's, and hit 5, hit 6, hit 8, raised, and now slide that down a step and a half to the 8th fret. So to where we're at is, right, and then play the same thing again. Play 5, 6, 8, slide it down another step and a half. And from this point, you could keep going, or you could end it. You could make it this. You could go, and do something. You could go, I'll teach you that. So it's what I already showed you. You got, and then here you go 5, 6 with B pedal. Go down to your 3rd fret, hit 4 and 5 together with B pedal, a double stop, let off of B, 7, 8. So you had from the start of the diminished part, you had. So the whole thing is. Sorry. Just you can phrase that a bunch of different ways, but the other thing is you could keep going. You could go, you could resolve there, So the fun thing about that is it's sort of a fun complement to, because you're really, if you look at the positions you're working through, you're kind of, you're sort of working over the 4 chord a little bit in a lot of ways, because those two notes are sort of, based around the 4 chord. That's sort of based around a 2 almost. And then you're sort of, actually, I was saying it started at A diminished. Really, it's really G. It's really just the diminished 1 is what you're working over, and all the different. Right, so. Any a zillion different things you could do, but or anything like that. But something cool to throw in the middle of a, find a way to work that into some solo you're doing. You can twist some ears around a little bit like that, right? And it's just that, it's just a repeating. You could do it up, right? just me. Right. Some options there. Something fun. I'm always about twisting ears a little bit and throwing something sort of musically fun in the middle of what would be sort of a normal line somewhere, because that's stuff that I like hearing. I always like hearing some fun sort of, people may say, out notes, in a normal line is more exciting to hear musically, generally, especially if you're getting tired of playing the same stuff. Find a way to work that concept into a line you already have. You get some good mileage out of that.
I got a couple of other concepts that are not really universal, but I think they're kind of neat the way they sort of lay out. If I'm going to stay in C here, and I'm going to play that sequence of notes. I've got the fifth pedal down, and I've got the C lowered and C lowered. You may recognize that as the first part of the bridge of Move. So I'm going to take most of that and move it up 3 frets and do it again. And then resolve it to F. Another way to get to F, instead of this tritone thing, and it really kind of even still is a tritone, because you're a half step sharp of where you're going. But it's the concept, what works in one position, sometimes jazzy situations will also work 3 frets up. So that's a thing to kind of keep in mind. I'm going to show you one other instance where that thing applies. So stay in C. Exactly the same notes, only a 3 frets up. Then you resolve to your F. There we go.
A lot of stuff Jimmy Day and Buddy Emmons and other players did back in the early 60s was just basically with 2 pedals. Didn't use a lot of knee levers. I think they had 1 or 2, and then eventually it had more. But a lot of times it's just, you can play Crazy Arms or any of the old Ray Price songs with just 2 pedals. So you could play a whole song with just those 2 pedals on and off. So it's basically putting your foot over the A and B pedal and rocking back and forth. You definitely don't want to have your foot on 1 pedal at a time. You want them over the 2 pedals that you're going to be using. So it'd be pedal on, pedal off, put the other pedal on, B pedal on. And there's a whole little scale thing you can do here where you're in the key of G, 3 and 5. That's a 1 chord. Both pedals down is a 4 chord. A whole step up from there is a 5 chord. So it's G, C, and D. And then if you go back a whole step on that last one, both pedals down, it's a D9 chord. And you would slide down like this. And what's cool about this is that you're not pressing both pedals down at the same time, and you're not letting them up at the same time. You do a thing where you pick the pedals at random. You might let one up before the other one, and it would sound something like this. And you can go down a whole step and add your pedal, add your A pedal. Same grip, by the way, through this whole thing. So So it might sound something like this if you're trying to go from a 1 to a 4 chord. And Jimmy Day and Buddy Emmons did a lot of that. Of course, they played the other strings, but that's a good way to sort of practice. So I'll randomly sort of go up and show you some of the things you can do. So there's a 7th. Pedal on, pedal off. Go to the 3rd fret, you're still in G, pedal on. Either pedal on or either pedal off is good. And just having them offset where you're using them at different times. Go up a whole step from there to the 5th fret and press your B pedal only. And that's really cool for playing in G also. You wouldn't think that going to that fret is a G position, but it is. Because these chords are all related. G, C, and D are all related in the scale. So go up a half step from there. Dominant 7th, major. I just did a half pedal on my A pedal, and it's a major 7th. But it's the same thing as this, so it's a repeat, sort of redundant. But there's magic in there. You could do some stuff in there where you need that. Then go up a whole step from there, and that'd be the 8th fret. Both pedals down is a dominant 7th. And you let it off, and you get a 6th, a G6 chord. And you might play something like this. Go up a whole step from there. Sorry. That was all going from a G to a C chord. Let me extend it. So if you need more bars, you'll need more length to get that all put together. So I'll do about the same thing, maybe an octave higher. And I'll start up here. Sorry. Sorry? Yeah, that's where I've kind of got. And that's like a little bit of Tom Brumley. You really don't need to lower your B to B flat in this instance because you're just lowering it like this, but you're raising this string back up. That's the cool thing about pedal steel guitar is you're moving things around a little bit. So back to the 1. Major 7th, dominant 7th, 6, 1, dominant 7th, 4 chord. So that might sound like this. It will sound like this. I added a half step in between there. And if you listen to the old Ray Price records with Jimmy Day or Buddy playing, there's a lot of this going on. They're playing very simple, and they're just, a lot of times it's just chromatic stuff like. So basically pedal on, pedal off, that type of thing. 3rd and 5th string only.
All right, so this lick kind of reminds me of, say, a Mansion on the Hill kind of song. You could start out your solo this way if you wanted to, and the lick goes like this. Real simple, short and sweet. So it's 2 and 5, strings 2 and 5. You're lowering the 2nd string a whole tone. You're raising the 5th string, A pedal, whole tone. So you have a unison. We're going from a G, G7 to a C. So unison strings 2 and 5. Now all you got to do is let off on the pedal and the knee lever that's lowering the 2nd string. And then you just go up to the 8th fret, kind of let that ring out. And go to the 8th fret and hit 2 and 6 and add the B pedal. Raises the 6th string a half tone. And then resolve it to to strings 4, 5, and 6, no pedals. You could squeeze that B pedal on, you know, give it that a little feeling. So that's that. Now you could alter this a little bit by going, I'll show you the lick. Little counterpoint. So that's done a little bit differently. I'll show you that. So it's same start. Here's 2 and 5. Lower the second string a whole tone. Raise the fifth string a whole tone. So you have a unison G. So we're still going from a G, G7 to a C. So here, so hit those strings 2 and 5. Go up a half fret to the 7th fret. Let off on the A pedal. Keep the second string engaged, lowered all the way. Come back to the 6th fret, let off on that second string whole tone drop. And let that ring out and slide it up to the 8th fret. And as you slide up, when you get to the 8th fret, put on the 2nd pedal that raises the 6th string and hit that 6th string. G7. 2nd pedal only, so strings 2, 5, and 6 are ringing out. And then you resolve it, 4, 5, and 6, no pedals. So that's an alternate way of doing it. That's it.
All right, this is one of my favorite intros. You know, the way I do this, if I have to play Too Cold at Home, we're in D. There's several different ways you can approach attacking the beginning. I'll usually do strings 5 and 6, and I'll pump the A and B pedal. So you'll already have your one side of your foot on the B pedal anchoring, and then you're going to rock and squeeze that A pedal in. So you'll go, and we're on strings 5 and 6 on fret 10. So we'll go, and then I'm going to stay on the same fret and play 4 and 5 open with the E to E flat lever engage. And then go back to A and B pedal. So that's because we're going right into the 4 chord. So we're going, and then go up a whole step to fret 12, open. So and then pluck on the 10th fret. A and B pedals down, strings, and kind of in a subtle fashion. You don't want to attack every time you hit a note, but 5, 6, and 8. And that do-do-do, it's got a 6 in there on the 1 chord. To engage the 8 pedal, and like I said, we're on 10, fret 10, strings 5, 6, and 8. So we have A, F sharp, D. Engage the A pedal and get that 6 in there. So now your A note is going to B. You go, and then you go to 13, fret 13, A pedal engaged, and E to F engaged, and then you go to 17. I'm sorry, and 8, strings 8, 6, and 5, and do another squeeze with anchoring your B pedal, and you'll and we pluck on the second time strings 6, 5, and 4. And like I said, we're it's country, so we're gonna have to milk everything. And then we go to the 5 chord, same fret, pedals open, strings 3 and 5, and then go to the 14th fret, 3 and 5 again, B pedal engaged. So you get that. Let's like together again. But anyway, we're sliding down to get that minor 7th through the 5 chord. And then we'll do, then slide back down to fret 12, strings 3 and 5, A and B pedals down. So 8, we're on fret 8 now, and we're getting that minor 7th down there. So we got the G note, and then we have the E note. But do a quick slide to fret 10, open pedals, and then we go from fret 10 to fret 5 in the pedal down position for the 1 chord, and we're hitting strings 4, 5, and 6. Pedals down, and then quickly, and leave that note as hanging as much as you can. Go back up to fret 10, and we're hitting strings 10, 8, and 6. And we're starting open, but then we do a quick pull with the A and B pedals. So starting with the string 10, your first note, you go A to B, D, G, pedals down, go from a 4 to a 5 chord, or a 4 to a 1 chord, I'm sorry. And then just keep that ringing. Then you resolute back, you'll be back at fret 5. Pedals down. So the whole passage again is
Okay, I'm going to go over some short licks with you. Some of the stuff I'm sure you've heard before. Let's take, for example, the intro to High Cost, which we kicked the album off of Jamie Johnson's with. And the lick goes like this. And then it repeats. So, what are we doing here? Okay, what we're doing, we're out of C with our A and B pedals down. And let me clarify this too. My A and B pedal starts on my second pedal. And anyway, so we're out of C, so we got our B pedal down, and I'm rolling into the A pedal. Now, I've also got a knee lever that raises my first string a half tone to a 7th. And also, at the same time, you may have another knee lever, like a lot of people will have, and they'll have half stops and drop it on down to the full tone drop. So you want these two notes in the lick, these two, on your first and second string. So it'd be like roll your 5th string, then with your B pedal down. Now you got both pedals down, plus a knee lever or combinations of knee levers that can give you on your second and first string. So to the 3rd string, B pedal down, to the 1st string with the knee lever in, then back to the 5th string, then to the 4th string, back to the 5th, and then I start on the 2nd string, I'll start, and then again I'll hit the 5th string and roll off. And that same so 5th string, A pedal, 3rd string, B pedal, 5th pedal, 5th string again, with A pedal, and then 1st string with knee lever in, back to the 5th string with the A pedal down, and then the 4th string, back to the 5th string, and then start and that's the 2nd string and 5th string. And then when you hit the 5th string again, roll off of it. So now come down with your index finger and hit your 6th string. And then to your 7th string with this knee lever in, giving you the 7th. I said index finger, I'm sorry. Middle finger. Just like a roll. So that's pretty much the lick of high cost living, how it's done.